That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
We're back.
We're back, baby. We are back. We are back with Fishing Friday Live. I got to.
We'll probably get like 3 people to jump on with us.
I don't think it's Trey Dizzle. I just noticed that that's what you changed your name to, even though we just talked for 25 minutes.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm letting everybody know in the group we are back.
We are back. Back in the saddle.
Sharing it to the
my
group.
mic is way too loud.
What's going on, Chris Curtis? Mr. Fuchs in the house. Welcome back, Fishing Friday Live. We are back at least for 1 week. Next week we'll have to be, because we're going to be my annual Father's Day trip with my old man is next Friday.
I'll be in Rhode Island next week, so
he's going to be
too
in Rhode
bad.
Island. Trey's going to be at the river with me. Maybe we can go live from the Sportsman's parking lot.
We'll go live. We got to go live from the Sportsman, dude. We got to go live from the Sportsman because we have left everybody hanging all year long. We've barely done any Fishing Friday Live, so we owe that to them.
What I need to
jump
do,
back on here.
Hey, look, I'll try to convince Liz. I think next Friday is when we have our special dinner after our graduation at the White Horse Tavern. It is the oldest tavern in America.
Wow.
Built in
Take it. That's what you should do, Ben. Take the One Cast crew on a history tour on Fishing Friday Live. That's what we should do.
I could do a lot of history tours.
Yeah.
What I need to do, since Starlink now has the
oh yeah, bring your Starlink out.
I have the mobile one, and you don't have to pay like a monthly. They have the $10 emergency internet or whatever it is for like 3 gigs, which is more than enough to do a live stream. I need to just chuck that with me, and we can just do it from the Roanoke River. So
you better do it while you can.
Well, yeah, he might be getting deported, but that's not our typical stuff. What's going on, Gary White? Glad to have you in the house. What's going on?
It is our
Fishing Friday Live.
It is our typical stuff.
Oh yeah, make sure you check out all the sponsors that are scrolling across the bottom. Normally would shout them all out, but we got right into talking, so I don't want to. I'm not going to do the usual thing, but make sure you get those Night Hawk.
Let me do one. Look right behind you, folks. You'll see right behind Huff Daddy, Ben himself. He's got boxes and boxes and boxes of everything that you need over at onecastfishing.com. Head on over to that website. Check out the Nighthawks that he just held up, the Sunfish, the Pearl. He's got South African Special. He's got Hematoma. He's got Green Pumpkin.
Got them all right now.
He's got them all, right? And he's got those weedless net heads. He's got those snagless jigs. So if you want to join the snagless revolution, get your hands on those. He's got the merch over there, right? There's a was that a football head jig? You're going to need that for dragging those ledges. They are offshore in a lot of the places. So you want to get your hands on all that good gear from onecastfishing.com. Use the code TheOneCast, all one word, at checkout and support a veteran-owned company. Also, while you're online, is anybody wearing? Yep, Ben's got a Carolina Waters hat on right now. Carolina Waters NC.com. Same thing, all one word, the OneCast at checkout. Get your hands on that UPF gear. The dog days of summer are upon us here in the Carolinas. It's hot, it's humid. You need to stay protected from the sun. So get those hats, those buffs, those gloves, and those UPF shirts from Carolina Waters. Also, while you're online,
I'm going to post the link for Hobie Hour. Make sure you go there, save yourself some coin. Also, make sure you join us on June 29th for the Jordan Lake cleanup. If you can't join us, there's also an option to clean up a lake near you. That's all posted all over socials. You can go check those out on our socials. What else?
Deep dive. Make sure you before your next fishing trip, you got to go over the deep dive. And I haven't been out in a couple of weeks, but I've been following deep dive lately because of all the rain and stuff we've gotten around here. Lakes are fluctuating with lake levels and water clarity with all that runoff coming in. So I've been like paying attention, like what is going out there on the water right now. So go to the deep dive. That's just a couple of the features they have. Play Store, or I think that's what peasants like Trey call it when they got the Androids and everyone else. Got the
Yeah,
App
that
Store.
Google Play.
But regardless of what actual hardware you're using, you can use a deep dive app, and it's phenomenal when you're planning fishing trips and even out in the water. You can make
Yeah.
it.
I don't have a cool nickname, Christine.
Yeah, it's just Pete, like
She calls
JP.
me out on it. And when you're done there, after you get your deep dive app, you know where the fish are, and you decide where you want to live. Hit up our Uncle Terry Carpenter. He's not actually our uncle, but we call him Uncle Terry. Licensed NC realtor at Coldwell Banker, Howard, Perry, and Walston. Terry will help you find your dream home. Carpenter Key at hpw.com, or check out our link tree, which I will post in the chat in a little bit. And I have his link tree linked in our link tree. It's a linkception. Or something like that. I'm also going to post the links for the Hobie Eyewear lake cleanup sign up here. I'm going to paste those a little bit so we're not hammering you guys, because we've got all kinds of messages coming through. Chris Curtis, we are happy to be back live again too. It's been
and Chris just said he got it. He's tested out his new bait caster. I love it. Hey, what'd you get, Chris? What
you roll
did you get there?
But yeah,
awesome.
we haven't been live since March.
It's been a while.
Tournament season and everything. So
we had a little bit of a different tournament schedule this year, and I think that national championship being smack dab at the beginning of it, between the first and second regular season tournament, really threw a wrench in the gear. Ben obviously traveled down for that national championship event too, so it's just been go. A lot of moving pieces right now within all three of our lives. Busy bait industry. Pete got a promotion. I'm in full-fledged retirement mode, which means I still have a lot of administrative things that are going on. So it's been busy.
My wife's PCS and back. And
Huff Daddy's a bachelor.
Yeah, and then that's been part of the problem in over the last year, but every few weeks, or I try every month or every 6 weeks to go up to New England where my wife is, where she's at school. So it takes me out too, and shutting down the business and that type of thing. But it's been good. It's been nice to go up there and see stuff, but it's also it's been different. It's been a very different life.
Yeah. It's also been a year that I personally haven't really followed as much as I have in the past. BASS, MLF, BPT, MPFL. I followed that. It's a little bit easier to follow MPFL. They only have 6 events a year, and it's a little bit easier to follow their stuff. But outside of our immediate fishing here in the Piedmont region and stuff like that, even the local Piedmont stuff, I haven't really followed all that. I've just kind of been, if I'm not fishing, I'm doing, retirement stuff. So, but it's all good. We're back. We're ready to get back talking about fishing and bringing you guys things that answering questions you may have. I know there was a lot of people beating us up like, hey, when are you coming back? So we're back again. I got this awesome Fu Manchu that I'm growing right now.
He does. And if you want to hear about, we're not going to talk about Fishers and Men and all that, our season. Listen to the episode coming out next Thursday, and we talk about all of it. So
I will say, the reason why Trey's growing what he's growing is because he can't do like Pete and I. He can't grow the full thing out.
That's not true. Everything that Huff Daddy just said was completely false information. Why I am growing this out is because of the fishing superstition. Ooh, the fishing superstition, man. The superstition gods have got to us. And so when I shaved this off, I don't think we did very well in the tournament. When I started growing it back out, we actually had some success. So you know how it is. No banana in the boat. Make sure you pump the gas to the whole number type thing. Wear the same pair of dirty draws. I don't know. Pete does that or something like that. We got to have the ducks in the boat, the Hobie ducks, the lucky ducks. So all that stuff. But yeah, it's been
Trey 1,000% screwed us this year by having
100%, 100,000%.
Yeah.
Look at I am spitting bars right now.
There's two. Trey screwed us, and then my dad screwed us. Because he didn't call. Yeah, he didn't call. He calls us every tournament between 11 and 1 to see how we're doing. And it seems like every time he makes that phone call, if we're struggling or we need a big fish, we're able to run into it. Well, he couldn't in the national championship, so we couldn't because that was illegal. But in our regular season tournaments, he can. Yeah. He didn't call it the last one, and we needed a big fish. And so we called him and told him it was all his fault.
I do feel bad because that national championship day one in the afternoon when he could have called you guys around that time. That's when the sun came out. You all remember?
Oh yeah,
And that's when I caught the 5, the 4, and the 3. And I mean, you guys know exactly where I caught him at because I kind of showed you the area. I was just like, well,
we were fishing all over that area. We
never
saw you.
Right place, right time.
Hey,
right.
Huff Daddy, here. Let me point this out to those who are watching right now. You notice the guy who has no nickname took zero accountability for any of the fish this year. Like he said, Trey and my dad completely cost us this year.
Yeah, it wasn't my fault. I didn't.
So the
do
guy who's
wrong.
just Pete took zero accountability, and that's why you and David Fuchs are not friends this weekend because Pittsburgh's playing somebody else apparently in Pennsylvania.
I don't care. They're
I don't
beat
really
the
know.
off the Pirates. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
the Pirates.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of which, this is different, but Pete, you boys got Aaron Rodgers.
I saw. Yeah, Super Bowl champs.
Okay. Good luck.
I mean, he threw for what, like 20 or 3,500 yards and 29 touchdowns with the Jets. We'll be all right.
Okay.
Anyway, no, they're gonna suck. I don't watch football anymore. I'm too busy. No, I mean, I'll take accountability. I completely screwed the pooch in the national championship. There's an episode all about it. That was 100% me because it was.
No, you didn't screw it.
Trey let me do my thing. I lost 2 key fish and I broke one off that would have put us in the money. So
we need somebody. We need somebody in the comments to help Pete figure out how to catch a fish. Ken Wells might be able to do that.
How many fish did we weigh in last Saturday that you caught, Trey? Just remind me because I can't remember.
0.
Okay,
0.
How many fish did
zero
we weigh?
fish. We also had the smallest bag of all year. We had the smallest bag all year.
You caught our biggest fish of the year this year.
That would be you on a buzzbait. I caught our biggest one last year on a frog.
It was a super fun year. Make sure you all go check out the episode next week. But
Ken Wells jumped on here from Take a Warrior Fishing. Ken Wells, retired Army. So thank you for your service, brother.
My dad said I'll be down to retrain him. Yeah, all right. He's
come down, Pete Senior. He needs retraining for sure. Even if it's raining, you're still training.
I'm about to put a master class.
I will say, I don't think Pete Senior, Pete. I know you're on here. It looks like, but I don't think he's a big bed fisherman. You don't like just going down the bank looking.
It's hard to do.
And it's not something we really do in PA. What's up, Tony? Not something we do a lot.
Tony Parsley, tackle it up. What's up, brother?
Like when we bed fish in PA, I'm using a flogger. So
yeah. It's I mean, it's a different game. It is boring. Like you put your trolling motor on medium to high, and you just cruise down to you see some ones that you think you can catch, and then when they're all on beds, you ignore a lot of fish. Lots of
bed fishing happened this year.
I'm going to catch bedfish tomorrow, probably. I mean, why not? We've been catching them all year. We caught them on 31st of May. Might as well go find one.
You might. You going to run up where Kyle Welcher was?
I'm not going all the way down.
He won't. I know he's a one-trick pony on that system. I know exactly what he's going to run right now.
Yeah.
Unless he trailers it somewhere else, he's going to run a couple different spots that are.
No, I'm going to check. I'm going to check my stuff tomorrow, my usual patches and stuff. But I think I'm going to go check some other stuff too.
But here's the thing about that system, though, because if they're in where he goes, typically, there's no reason to fish anywhere else, right? Like there's no reason to. Now, if you're in explore mode and you're not worried about catching fish and you want to go see where you can get and can't get, like that's a different story. But man, that place down there is pretty awesome. I hope you guys blast them. Pete, let everyone know you finally got old Blue back. It's not really old blue anymore. It's new blue.
New Blue's back. We're back in business. Vexus took care of me. I don't even know if our typical Friday live folks know, but
they probably don't.
I had the dreaded pre-2022 cracked Vexus haul. I found it on like the 29th of March or something like that, end of March. Called Vexus. It took 15 minutes and I had a new haul going into production, sent mine back. It took exactly 8 weeks to get it back. So I'm in a brand new haul. They just moved all my stuff over. The only thing reused on the boat is all my electronics, my motor, my seats, my console. Everything else is new. So
Oh, they put the same seats on. That kind of sucks.
yeah, it's fun. My seats
you-
were in good shape though, so because I've always kept it covered in a garage, so my seats were in good shape. But they completely redid my trailer. Like I was getting ready to go to the bunks like Trey has, the like those
the
not
Gator
plastic,
tracks,
but like the Gator Tracks ones. Because my bunk carpet was
Gator,
all
whatever.
destroyed, and I needed new rollers in the front because they were all destroyed. And I came back, they put brand new winch, brand new rollers, replaced all my trailer bunks. So like they put new hubs in it. I looked today, new hubs in my trailer. So like I'm good. My trailer's basically brand spanking new.
Yep.
So I can't say enough about Vexus, man. Like I said, 15 minutes. It was one phone call and one email, and I was set getting a new haul. So can't say anything.
So basically, you got a new boat.
Basically, got a new boat, and I gained, depending on who's in the boat.
Yeah.
I've got 8 to 10 miles an hour. Just depends. Solo, I got almost 13 miles an hour if I'm by myself with a light load. So they redesigned the pad and stuff a little bit more, so it's quicker. Trey, did you notice the difference?
Absolutely. It's a
I told you,
it's
like
quick,
not even the same boat.
quicker, and B, it's quicker, and B, it's smoother. Same exact layout. They put that C deck in the cockpit. That was really cool, and then a sealed compartment where your step is at, and then a retractable rod strap. So they did a really good job. And that's for everybody that's watching right now. Like if you're in the market for buying a new boat, obviously we're not sponsored by anybody. If you're interested in Skeeter or Bass Cat, you can come see our buddies right down here in Sanford, who opened Elevate Outdoors. And I don't know if we actually went live and did anything. Yeah, we did go live a little bit.
We did live with Big Mike. We did a couple.
Yeah, we did live with Big Mike. But Elevate Outdoors right here off of US 1 in Sanford, North Carolina. They're Bass Cat, Skeeter, G3 dealer. They got a bunch of different center console boats and stuff like that. But if you're in the market for an aluminum boat like Pete and I run, and you want a brand that's going to stand by its lifetime warranty, Vexus, man. Like I watched it happen. I'm not a Vexus owner. I'm a Tracker owner. I watched Pete go through the process, 2 months to the T. And they squared them away, man. And when I get another boat, if I don't go fiberglass and I go tin, it's going to be a Vexus for sure.
Yeah.
So good lessons learned.
That new V2 haul is even better. So if I stay aluminum, I'm kind of in the same boat. But man, so another shout out to Elevate when we had the Warrior Fishing, and we're wearing one of our shirts. But when we did our Warrior Fishing event on Jordan in April, my boat was down, and they let me borrow one of their demo boats. So I ran a FXR 20 Apex Skeeter. Man, I'll tell you what, if you're in the market for a boat, go check one out because that thing was quick. I ran it 73 with just me in it with that Yamaha Show 250 pushing it with Big Mike and myself fishing the day of the tournament with a tournament load, full tank of gas and everything. We cruised at like 67 like butter. That boat was awesome, man. The live wells, everything about it was really great. So if you're in the market, hit up our friends. If you're in North Carolina, hit up our friends. Or even if you're not, hit up Elevate Outdoors. Let them know we sent you. Go check out a Skeeter or Bass Cat boat. You can't go wrong. And I'm looking forward to finally actually breaking my boat in by taking it to the Roanoke and beating it around in the Cypress knees tomorrow. So we'll get some dings and dents back in there, get a good scum line going, and get it looking right because it's too clean right now.
It is. It's almost disgustingly clean. I feel like we're not going to fish well out of it. The only tournament that Pete and I have left for the year is our Fishers and Men regional or our division championship, which we don't know which lake that's on, but that is on June 28th. The following day is that lake cleanup. We're really looking forward to that. So please come on down, support that lake cleanup event. What else has been going on since March, man? Like March? Holy cow.
Man, there was something I was going to bring up, and now I just completely forgot.
That link I just posted is for if you can't make it to our event, if you go clean up at your lake, local lake, and you sign up there, Carl Joachimson and his Fear My Heart are doing a bunch of giveaways. So you sign up there and post a picture of one garbage bag, and you get entered into the giveaways. And then I posted the link for our actual lake cleanup a little bit ago. So make sure you come join us if you can. But you don't have to join us. So if you live in Eastern North Carolina and you want to go clean up, what was that gar hole you and I fished that one day? Somebody's gonna get
Lake
mad
Phelps?
because I called it a gar hole. Yeah, Lake Phelps.
Even though that was on like the top 10 North Carolina bass fishing
Did you see that lake? That list?
I'm telling you.
Know. What was like big?
Well, I mean, it may have some giants in it. It just may
no.
not.
There's big ones in there. It's just a very weird lake because the whole thing's like 3 foot deep, and then there's one deep hole in the middle. It's crystal clean. Like,
well, that's kind of like
it's just a weird lake.
Oh, what's that lake down? It's not Waccamaw. What's that lake down by Wilmington?
Oh,
Lake?
Sutton.
Yeah,
Sutton?
Sutton's a weird lake too.
Yeah, because Sutton's got like 7 lakes that are connected by canals, and it's
and it's all shallow in the middle except for the canals they've got dredged out on the rim.
If you ever go there, don't run the middle of the lake because I have heard there are cypress trees and they're bigger than people have ever seen before. But
cypress knees,
and then there's New Jersey that's a mud puddle, and I'll probably go fish it one day just to say I did.
But David, Tony from Tennessee, David from Jersey, it doesn't matter where you're located in the continental United States or abroad. The goal is to clean up a local body of water, right? So go and sign up for that. And if that's DOD, David, or that's wherever in Tennessee, Tony, and any of the listeners, like anybody, it could be a pond, it could be a lake, it could be a river. It doesn't really matter. Carl's goal and this entire initiative is to clean up across the country and across the globe, right? So we can all do our due diligence and go out there and take a day or take a few hours. That's what we're going to do down here at Jordan Lake. It's from 8:30 to noon. We're just going to clean this lake, man. And yeah, I think it's absolutely something that everybody should get on board with, because as much as we love to use the resources, we need to take care of them too. I know exactly where I'm going on Jordan Lake to clean. I know exactly where I'm going.
Yeah, I've got a pretty good idea where I want to go.
Yep.
But
yeah, David said I'll go find my leaf spring that broke at DOD. So David had a leaf spring break on his trailer. Hopefully you get that squared away and fixed soon, dude, and you get back on the water. Get back on the road and water. So since March, Ben, Pete looks like he's muted. He's doing some talking right now, but man, it's been a busy last 4 months.
Sorry about that. I was telling Chelsea which rods to grab for tomorrow, even though she already knew. You only really need one.
You need 3.
One.
You need 3. You need one for a horny toad, one for a frog, and one to flip with.
Yeah, that's all you need. I'll throw a buzzbait a little bit, maybe.
You need a frog rod. You need a chatterbait rod around those pads. You need a punching rod around those pads.
Nah. Oh, man.
And then
Huff Daddy's getting sexy on them now.
He'll eat a frog all day. That's all you need.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, surprisingly, Tony, we got a bunch of rain here, and it's I've been checking the flow at the river all day today, and it's barely even increased. So it might be a little bit dirtier than usual, but that's fine. Trey caught a giant on a buzzbait when it was dirty. Trey, remember we were talking yesterday? You were like, "Oh, it's gonna be muddy." Remember that great big one you caught? And that was
I do. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yep. Had a black and blue paddle tail on the back of that buzzbait as a trailer. I usually don't use trailers, but it was so windy today, I wanted to slow it down. But yeah, like Tony asked, are the lakes overfilled right now? Man, they are dumping. They are dumping water out of our lakes.
So I just pulled up deep dive. Pulled up deep dive on Jordan, and Jordan's at 216. It's just normal pool. Of course, earlier,
rain
we got yesterday. 5 days ago, it was like 3 feet high. They just dump water, but it's rained every day.
As much rain as we got yesterday, those
rivers are taking it.
Where it was flooding downtown Sanford, I thought for sure it was going to come up, and it's at 216. So they must have.
And Falls is below 252. Falls is below 252. It's at 251.89. There's another reason to go. There's another reason to download that Deep Dive app, everybody, because you can check the water levels on Deep Dive. But I will tell you that the Cape Fear River is absolutely blown out with milk.
Yeah, it's rolling.
It's rolling. There's logs floating down it. It's chocolate milk. I just crossed over it today, coming back from Cary. So the river is just gushing, right? So use that deep dive app that we talked to you guys about, especially if they update it. Now, sometimes when there's storms and cloudy conditions, they can't get the geospatial imaging that they need to get for the water clarity and stuff like that, but they're going to have that on there. And if it's up to date, you're going to be able to find those areas. And I actually wanted to bring that up earlier. We get a lot of messages. We love answering your guys' messages. A lot of you guys have our cell phone numbers. We have no issues with that. We put our numbers out there, but at the end of the day, we don't always know the conditions of the water. Right. I don't know what's going on Jordan Lake. I don't know what's going on Sharon Harris. I definitely don't know what's going on Lake Gaston right now. Go download that deep dive app. There's a reason we tell you all about it. Download that deep dive app, do the 7-day free subscription or free trial, or just pay $80 and get the year-long subscription. It's going to help you out. Not that I don't want to hear from you, but I can't give you none of us can give you accurate information if we're not on the lake. Right. So I just wanted to throw that out there because a lot of the guys will hit us up about what's going on in the lake. And then what the fish are doing, hell, I don't know. Whatever they were doing yesterday, they're definitely not doing it today. You know what I mean? I'm telling you that right now because who can attest to this? Practice on Lake Gaston on a Friday, go on a Saturday, and it's 180-degree difference.
I mean, when you just talk about this, the weather, yesterday was kind of rainy and cloudy and overcast, and today, when I woke up this morning early, 6 or 5 or 6, I opened the door, the dogs the humidity was just punch
you in the face.
And today's just been it hasn't been super hot. I think it's been 85, but with the humidity and all, it's been it's just been it's been 100 degrees different.
Yeah, Ben loves it. Oh, Huff Daddy loves that blanket of humidity. Sam Stanley flipping crickets. Talk to Huff Daddy about this blanket of humidity that we have down here in North Carolina.
Sam is on our page with this humidity.
Sam's bruh, I'm cutting hair.
I'm too fat right
now because
what are you talking about? Sam's used to this. He's down by Lumberton. He's used to that weather down there.
Hey, I do want to say before my feed refreshes, man, wear your kill switch, wear your life jacket.
Yeah.
They just found a boat yesterday that was circling with nobody in it, a bass boat. They recovered the body of the 17-year-old that just bought the boat today.
What?
No life jacket, no kill switch. He got ejected. It was just spinning out there in the middle of the lake.
Where was this at?
This was in Georgia, Lake Allatoona. So always wear your kill switch. Always wear your life jacket because it can happen just that fast. And looking at it, it looks like a tin rig with a 150. So it doesn't have to be a 70-mile-an-hour boat. You get ejected, you hit your head on the way out, something happens. You're not going to come home to your family. So prayers out to that kid's family. I'm not going to say his name or anything, but just wear your kill switch and your life jacket. It's unfortunately, we get lots of absolutely terrible reminders every year of why you need to do that. And this is just another one. So,
gosh, you bring up a really good talking point for a minute. Anybody that fishes tournaments out there, you don't have to be a tournament fisherman, right? I'll put it out there. This year, I protested somebody. For a sit. Yeah, I know, but I can't speak for you.
You can speak for me. We're partners, and I supported you. I saw it too.
So we protested a safety violation this year. The safety violation went like this. Person was not wearing their life vest when the big motor was in gear. I don't care if you're 5 inches away from the ramp or you're out in the middle of the lake. The rules
that's our tournament rules. Anytime the big motor is in gear, you have to have your life vest on.
Now, that is most sanctioned tournament rules, right?
Yep.
Besides that, that person was reported for a safety violation. Could it have been as easy as, hey, put your life vest on? It could have. However, at the end of the day, as an angler, it's my responsibility to report a violation, just as I would expect somebody to report me, right? Does that mean I'm a Dudley Do-Right? Maybe, right? But at the end of the day, like, we just came off of tragic accidents on Smith Lake. We just came off of tragic accidents on Lake Norman. Pete just talked about a tragic accident down in Georgia on Allatoona, which is a funny lake name, by the way. I like to say that. But I feel bad for all those people. But at the end of the day, there are so many safety precautions that you can control that if you aren't taking the opportunity to control them and something happens, I call that negligence, right? And so we did that. It set a precedence this year. I think it actually forced potentially maybe a small culture change, right, in the organization. And I would say that that's a good thing, right? People are a little bit more diligent about wearing their protective gear when they're on the water. Hey, what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? Like, that's a good thing, in my opinion, especially because once Memorial Day weekend happens,
it's
right. It's no holds barred, man. Like, it is.
I mean, we
straight up.
I mean, we have been on these lakes. I'm sure all of us have on Memorial Day or Labor Day. And it's literally like on Jordan Lake. It's bumper cars. Like, you try to go to the S-Tours or something, it's like literally bumper cars out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's crazy too, man?
Crazy.
Like, I like, and this is the last thing I'll say about it. Somebody out there wakeboarding who gets in an accident, that headline, hey, Chousticles, that headline is not as strong as that bass angler who runs into a boat going 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Well, Trey,
Like,
you just
those
sent me that video of that kid that ran into a dang bridge.
Right. Those headlines they're just not on the same playing field. Why? I couldn't tell you. But there's a level of expectation out of guys that are tournament fishing that are under an LLC or some organization's liability than there is somebody wakeboarding. Man, there just is, right? So I'll just say that, like, Pete, glad you brought that up. I wanted to let everyone know because we haven't really talked to everyone since March. And if you don't follow the podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and Podbean, and you only dial into Fishing Friday Live, well, now you know, right? So don't be afraid to report safety violations, man. Like, it is our job to make this sport a better place for people to fish.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all.
Couldn't agree more, man. Yeah, it was.
You guys,
it was what we
you
had
guys
to do.
been looking
Sweet
at all at
Pete.
Kentucky Lake BPT?
I looked at it for
I
about
got it
7
pulled
minutes.
up right now, dude.
So,
I
Yeah,
saw Jacob
I got it
Wheeler
pulled
caught
up.
all
I
his
haven't-
fish in one period.
I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't watched any. Zach Bird's in fifth right now, which is awesome. But
What's funny about that is Zach made a post that was like worst practice ever. Probably
that's
not
how it
going to
always
catch
is.
anything tomorrow. And then he went
Yeah,
out and
that's
bust a sack yesterday, bust on him today.
So
He's
what I
really
will
humble.
say is, Kentucky Lake used to be one of my bucket list lakes. I remember like 10 years ago. It was actually probably more like 16, 17 before Kentucky Lake took that really downhill slump with the Asian carp and all the issues they had. Like, that ledge fishing stuff, like watching Bassmaster and FLW and the guys, like, it was phenomenal. I mean, some of the greatest fishing out there. I mean, I remember it was literally a boat race, right? Because these guys were on the ledge, and I don't remember who it was. And you had to be in the right spot to make the right cast. And if your boat was bumper to bumper next to the other guy, you weren't catching them. It was literally a boat race on the final day to get there.
Yeah.
And that type of deal. And I'm kind of looking through. They caught a lot of fish today, but there were only 2 fish caught over 5 pounds.
Yeah, and it's not the same ledge fishing that everybody remembers,
No,
Ben.
so
It's not the
that is-
flutter spoons or the hair jigs or the big
or the
swim baits
crankbait kind of stuff.
or the
So
crankbaits.
what I have heard from a couple guys is that the smallmouth is coming back pretty good. Like, you can go
Big
smallmouth
time.
fish. It's still not the ledge fishing deal with the largemouth like it used to be. It's like you have to fish for them different ways.
Yeah.
Of course, I haven't watched the coverage, so I don't know how these guys are doing it necessarily. But I mean, their lake's just different than it used to be. It's not quite the same. Like,
But Tony says it was that way today. Now, again, I didn't see it. So if they're catching largemouth, the weight,
every fish he's weighed has been a largemouth.
so that's a good thing. right?
Mhm.
They used everything today. Tony said, man, lakes are cyclical, right? Some lakes
Well, they
will
are,
rebound.
and of course, Kentucky had all the issues with the Asian carp and different
Right.
stuff. And
Right. Yeah.
but I mean,
And there's
I
still Asian
remember
carp
like
up there.
the 5-pound bags used to be 25 to 30 pounds out there.
Yeah.
And like
Yep.
today, like the biggest, there was only 2 bass caught up for 5 all day.
See, now
both
Tony's
5
talking my kind of offshore fishing, right? Tony's talking spoons and hair
Oh, yeah.
jigs and big plugs, dude. And that's what I may go do that tomorrow just because Tony said that. I'm not driving to Kentucky Lake, Tony, but if I was, I'd swing by. But I might go
should
do
be
that
on the
here
Harris
because
right
we have
now.
some. Yeah, I mean they're doing that on sometimes she's sharing Harris, sometimes she's Karen Harris, depends on how her attitude is. But those are the good old days. Remember watching, because Bass would do it and FLW. They'd fish Kentucky Lake and they'd be rub rail to rub rail with no spotlight trolling motors. There'd be issues happening. Right? There's drama
before
going back.
Spotlock, they were doing it. Somehow they kept themselves like.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you saw guys out there just their foot's on the trolling motor the entire time. Then when they catch one, they let go of the trolling motor. They drift like 400 yards backwards and they're like, oh, I got to get back up to that spot again. You know what I mean? So Christine said Sharon is Karen Harris. And I tend to agree with that, Christine. But Kentucky Lake, man, like, and Pete talked about Zach. Like Zach said, I had a terrible man. Zach, listen, dude. He's gonna watch this because he's our boy.
I'm going to throw a frog and whatever
he shows up to Santee at the first MPFL event. Didn't even fish the first day and cashes a check. Right? Like Zach Burge is an animal. In fact, he's probably inspired subconsciously the old handlebar mustache that I got going on here. But man, I'll tell you what, if Kentucky Lake makes a full
big fish.
Yeah, if Kentucky Lake makes a full rebound, like that's really awesome, man. That's a bucket list lake for me for sure, but it's got to bounce back.
I mean, yeah, it's always been it's been a bucket list for years. And like when I go back to my parents in Missouri, like, I mean, that stretch I take, I literally pass over it and I look at the dam of Kentucky and Barkley every single time I go. And I've never stopped, even when I'm pulling my boat. But that was when I really got into fishing and started on a downswing, and I have never stopped. Yeah. But one day,
I actually did a full collegiate. I'm gonna say collegiate college report.
What's up, Dylan?
On the Asian carp, population. Yeah, Dr. Dylan Freeze. Why did I say Doctor Freeze? What movie? What movie, guys?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah, Batman, dude. Come on. When Arnold played Dr. Freeze in Batman. So Dr. Dylan Freeze in the house, man. Good to see you on here. MPFL Pro getting ready to pack his crap up in Ohio and head down to Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma.
What's up, Zach?
No.
Are they Eufaula?
Eufaula. Yeah. So MPFL is going to Eufaula.
Bass is at 10 killer.
Bass is at 10 killer. Yep.
I tell you what, that tournament in June at Eufaula, Alabama is going to be.
You may be a bit grindy.
Yeah, Pete, what do you think about the MPFL's event at?
No, it's Eufaula, Oklahoma. It's
Oklahoma. Oklahoma.
What do I think
worse
about
than Alabama?
Oklahoma in
what do you think?
June.
Yeah,
I mean it's going to be grimy.
It's going to be grimy.
It's going to be super grimy, I think. I don't know, though, because I talked to apparently 10 killer fishes really well like that time of year because there's a lot of bushes and stuff. But I think Eufaula down there is grimy, especially.
Eufaula's got a lot of boat docks, right?
With no forward-facing sonar. Like it'd be a different event with.
You're right.
But without that tool in your toolbox, it changes your approach a little bit to a bit more of that. Sort of classic offshore. This is the nicest this puppy's ever been.
My guess would be
that classic offshore fishing. So I think it's going to be grimy and grindy, and it's not going to take a bunch of weight. But unless somebody finds that magic early morning topwater bite and goes out there and can crack a good bag early.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Like in that part of the country, in my experience, like early morning, if you can kind of go run those coves and pockets off the main lake with docks and brush and different stuff. Like you can throw top water and catch 5 kind of fast. And then you got to go grind out offshore.
So
run a crankbait jig, Carolina rig out offshore and try to catch them after
so
about 10 o'clock.
So I don't know how much the brush piles. You know, the MPFL went there 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and you know it was a lot cleaner, and it wasn't.
But they went there like later in the year, right? It wasn't like October.
Yeah, but like right now, Dylan's talking about it's 7 foot high, right? So you know, here's how Dylan can catch 15 of the right bass. You go to onecastfishing.com, use the code OneCast, get yourself the Hematoma Nighthawks and those snagless 1/2 ounce black and blue flipping jigs, and you're going to be just fine, right? Because it is in the bushes, right? Eufaula, Oklahoma is not a very clean body of water when the water is really, really high like it is, right? At least from my understanding. And if it's in the bushes, bro, big line, big baits, jack their faces, just like we would here.
I don't think it gets like that down there on Eufaula, and that's the problem. They do it on 10 killer, but from everything I've heard and read, they don't act that way on Eufaula. Like they don't go to the bushes because it's up there. They want to stay off. Like, on the ledges and the offshore stuff. So that's why I think it's going to be grimy.
So this is the thing. I got satellite. It's a lot of floating docks. There? No, I don't think so.
There's no grass. No. There's no vegetation there at all.
I'm about to Google Earth this bad boy. I'll tell you.
Yeah, and I'm Google
Pete's about to Google Earth it.
It looks like no graph. It's floating docks, right? Not permanent docks, which makes sense if it's.
And this is public information. This is public information. We are open to the public, guys. So any angler that's on here, this is public information. The three of us have never been to Eufaula, Oklahoma.
I've never been. Now, I've been to Bull Shoals in the summertime, this time of year, when it's 7, 10, 30 feet high, right? Of course, I think it's
30 feet.
Oh, no, it was literally 30 feet high.
Good gracious.
I mean, it was.
You know who needs that? Lake Mead.
The only fish we caught one day.
Yeah,
I think my dad. The only fish we caught one day. This is when I had my old tracker, right? And we were out there, and there was this tree stuck up out in the. It was crazy. We're literally looking down in 30 feet of water. We're on top of a tree, looking down at the base of it, and seeing all the fish and crappie around it.
Really?
So like, oh yeah. I mean, it was kind of eerie in that.
Sometimes the water can be too high, dude. Right?
Well, I mean, it was and it was super clear and finicky. It was very tough. And the only fish we caught that particular day was off this point was a tree sticking up, and I'm like, well, if there's going to be one, that's the spot, right? Just a random tree off this point that you could see, and I tossed a spinnerbait out there and caught it at 15-incher.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think 10 killer gets that clear, but like that is true. Like
Eufaula?
I mean, yeah, Eufaula. It doesn't get that clear. But
let's just be honest, like
it's a floating
they're fishing a lake that the Canadian River runs into, like it's gonna not be great. It's gonna be super passive aggressive. Like, and it's just not going to be great.
Probably filled with maple syrup and high taxes. I'm just kidding.
There's a North Canadian.
Hey, I love my Canadian brethren,
I
bro.
do too,
but you know what though? Here's the one thing. Here's the variable I would say. The lake has been high for months and months and months. That's the only thing. If it came up overnight, like I get it, right? But if it's been high for an extended period of time, Dylan in the comments, maybe we're not making you sad. Maybe those fish did decide like, hey, this is the year out of 27 years that we're going to slide up here, figure out what's going on. Now, we don't know. We don't know nothing about that place, but I hope for all the MPFL anglers, -1, Seth Ellis, that it's an absolute smash fest. No, I'm just kidding. I want Seth to catch him too. He's a good buddy of ours. If you guys are listening to this, you know Seth's a heck of a friend to us. But hopefully they go down there and absolutely.
It came down. It's come down 2 weeks in the last week. 2 feet in the last week.
Oh yeah.
What's a Tim Horton donut? Oh, Tim Horton, is that a donut place?
Timmy Hortons? Oh, but
Timmy Horton was a professional angler.
Timmy Horton donuts and coffee are about the only good thing in that Canada. Just kidding.
Coming out of Canada.
We got the Johnson brothers too.
So Johnston brothers are awesome. Gussie's awesome, man. Cooper Gallant, awesome. But so Ben said it a couple times, 10 killer, right? So
That's
10
Bassmaster.
killer.
Yeah.
So Bassmaster is going to 10 killer.
They about to mash him in the face.
Last time they were at 10 killer was 2019, Carl Jochimson.
They've had some
won that
opens
event.
there, I think, right? Maybe.
Yeah, but from the Elite Series perspective, that's the only time they've ever been there, or the last time they were there. And Carl won that, throwing a jig, and a couple of other baits. But this year, the water is high at 10 killer, and that's going to be an equalizer for that lake. And it could make that lake, according to the Bassmaster article, fish a lot bigger, because that's only like a 12,500 acre lake.
I'm looking at it.
It's smaller than Jordan Lake, right? Like,
you can run up
now that I know that they
ways.
About the same. Yeah.
Looking at it,
it's a river system.
Yeah, so
lake. It's long.
It looks cleaner than Eufaula.
It does.
I don't see grass still, but it looks like there's a lot of rock and stuff, and
yeah,
ain't gonna be a lot of
few
grass.
docks, not a ton.
But there might be grass. It just might be offshore. So thanks, Tim, for welcoming us back, man. We apologize, but we're back in business. David, I'm gonna try to make it up there in August. I'm not sure. I'm not fully retired then, so it's gonna be we got to play that one by ear. I may have to turn my gear in August, but we'll see. But yeah, I think the MPFL in Eufaula, Oklahoma, I think it's going to be a shallow fest. I just think it will. It could maybe an offshore brush pile deal. But without forward-facing sonar, it's going to be different.
They suck the bottom out of it.
Yep, unless they pull the water like Pete's talking about,
which they have.
And then I think 10 killer.
I don't think so. I think the guy who's going to win it is going to be offshore. It's going to be like someone like Patrick. He does the old school thing. Goes out there and grass for 3 days. He finds a couple big decent schools.
Yeah.
I mean, on side imaging, and he might make some, shallow water, top water type of stuff early in the morning, but I have a feeling it's going to be traditional.
10 killers dropped offshore since Saturday of last week, over 5 feet.
Oh wow!
I mean, they're pulling water out, yeah.
So they're out of it right now.
They're dumping that one.
And the thing is, when you dump that much water, and there's that much flow out, like those bass will just continue to push off. Like, okay, we're just going to get back to our normal area. So
absolutely. I mean, that stuff happens overnight. Pete and I learned that. If you guys go back and listen to our recorded episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, but I'll just say it to you real quick. Go forward and listen to it. So try to listen to it today for next.
Go into the future and listen to it next Thursday, and then come back and tell us what you thought.
Yeah, but they suck the water out 4 to 5 inches overnight, right? And so this is where forward-facing sonar doesn't matter. This is where apps like Deep Dive and using your eyeballs matter, right? Mm-hmm. And checking the flow rates and checking the water levels. Those things matter, dude.
And it's important understanding the lake you're going to, like
100%.
They pull 4 to 6 inches out of Jordan or Sharon Harris or Tillery or something overnight. That's a drastic change. They pour 4 to 6 inches out of Eufaula or Bull Shoals or Gunnersville, or like maybe not Gunnersville, but like some of these core flood lakes and stuff. Like, okay, I mean that happens routinely. Okay, that's not necessarily a big deal. It just depends on your lake you're at and its stability. Yeah. Like Gaston, right? Gaston, they keep pretty consistent because car bugs is the flood lake above it with the core. But like if they pulled 6 inches out of Gaston overnight, that'd be a huge
they
change.
did almost for us. Yeah. I mean, they did. That pulled those bass that Pete and I had found. That pulled those bass out of the pads and out of the grass to the edge of them. Right. And you got to think about that when you're targeting that kind of cover and that kind of structure, whether it's docks, whether it's grass, whether it's laydowns, it doesn't matter. You got to think about that from the bass's perspective. Now we're talking about the stability of the water has been interrupted. It's been interrupted because they've been dumping it down the dam. I mean, hell, man, like if I didn't have Pete in the boat that day, I would have ran into the damn concrete walls going underneath the bridges. They were pulling so much water so hard. And the good side of that is it positions fish, right? Bass ain't no different than a salmon. They want that water flowing through their gills to oxygenate it, right? So it's going to position them somewhere where they're at if they're pulling water. So there's all sorts of goodness and badness to them pulling water out of the place. So did you see what I said to you? Chris Curtis said. I don't know what he said. What'd he say? He said something about a bait caster. Oh, he's using a lose, I think.
Yeah.
If that's what he's talking about. Chris, if that's what you're talking about, using a lose bait caster, man, you can't go wrong with lose, man. They're a great company in the industry. A lot of support. They support the veteran community big time. And, I
mean, my top water reel store that lose LFS that I bought 10 years ago.
Hey, Tony, KGB Chad.
KGB Chad Pete said.
He said I'm going to next.
I will say it's also important to, if you go to a new
buy
body
3 of
water,
them to send them our way.
I was saying when you go to a new body of water, check the water level and check what it traditionally is, because I did run that problem on Toho. I think that was part of my problem with my engine. No, nothing serious. We had, but come to find out, but I was going back to this canal on the east side, and I went through the boat lines, right? It's like I needed like blues music playing or something, like jamming out, like inches of water going through. And I get all the way back there. I'm watching my map, and I get back there, and I come off plane, and my hole's dragging.
Ooh, buddy.
Yeah, come to find out, the lake was about a foot low.
Yeah.
And what I thought was going to be 2 to 3 foot of water ended up being like 18 inches. And my hole was dragging, spitting mud out, trying to get out of there. But I think that was part of my problem. And of course, the hydrilla there too. I got some. That one day I was there, it was cloudy, rainy, windy, and you couldn't see necessarily whether the hydrilla was topped out because of all that action and stuff. And I got in a bunch of hydrilla that wrapped. Propeller out a couple times and different things, but
paying attention to the water level is super
important to know on your map what is normal level and what's not. And even in a lot of lakes, I think about that, but like the Florida lakes, I will be honest, sometimes I don't necessarily think about that. If I go down to Okeechobee, it's a natural lake. I'm thinking, okay, it is, but it does fluctuate. Harris Chain's the same way. St. John's River, like any of that stuff, it does fluctuate. And so sometimes, like on coral lakes and all the lakes like around here in North Carolina and places, like you think about the those changes, but like even places that you don't think about, like a river or something, like those change water levels. And that's going to have an impact on you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully everybody fishes well at all the upcoming events. If you guys have local tournaments that you're fishing or whatever, hope we wish you guys. What is that? Is that a nighthawk on a jig head?
So this is just a random football snagless jig head I have sitting up here.
I thought it was a jig head for a jig head minnow.
No. I mean, you could throw it as a jig head minnow, and this is a 3/8 ounce.
Yeah, you could.
You could, but it's just a football head jig. I just put the nighthawk. I'm just sitting here, put the nighthawk on. And funny. So this would be like a shaky head, or it's not a wobble head because it doesn't wobble, but something like similar presentation, right? Drag it, reel it on the bottom or something. But
will we see a wobble head with one cast fishing? Will there be a wobble snagless head?
No, probably not.
Dude, a wobble snagless head with a long neck hook.
Look,
you could throw a big worm on it.
Big worm.
Big worm. Probably not. And look, this is why. Eventually, we'll do a shaky head and spinnerbait, buzzbait, and I'm trying to teach myself how to design that stuff. Right? with everything else going on, it's been a much slower process than I wanted to kind of learn how to 3D design stuff. But to be honest, like manufacturing, like a wall bearing's a lot more work because you gotta. It's kind of like a blade of
Moving
jig,
pieces.
right? You gotta sit there and put on the split rings and the blades and all that stuff. So if there's a way I could find a way to make it without necessarily all that, but like.
Here's a question for you before we got about 5 minutes left, and Tony brought this up. Everybody has that. You got to make something different, man. How much different can you really get anymore in the fishing industry? Especially, okay, maybe the hard bait game, maybe some of the JDM stuff, but at the end of the day, like how much different? How can we really get much different than where we're at?
No. I mean, I'll be honest. It's like from the business side, you can't be that much more. Okay, I mean, take the snagless jig, right? I'll just rip this off here, right? You look. Most everyone's seen it. It's just it's an offset EWG hook, right?
Yeah.
Designed for a jig mold. Okay, yeah. We put it out. I kind of did some patent stuff, didn't go down that route for a couple of reasons, and then come to find out, like, guys did this like in the 70s and 60s and stuff, right? Because they there were some local catalogs and stuff, and for whatever reason, like, a lot of the big, the small companies go out or whatever, and the big companies never caught on to it, which I don't necessarily understand, but like a lot of things have been done. And it's very hard to be super unique. And that's why there's almost no patents in the fishing industry.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, the chatterbait one is about to go out.
It already did.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a direct connect chatterbait out already.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Now, just like any baits, right? Like any crankbait or anything, like there's a different action with a split ring to a direct connect. Some days they want one, some days they want out. But like, I mean, we've seen things like guys have, multiple, like Guggen had patent pending baits, and I think Eco Baits had patent pending, and so like that stuff never comes to fruition because it's just when I went down this thing, like you have to have something that's completely unique and different, and just changing the style of a jig head is not going to satisfy that requirement. So it is very difficult. What's more important in the industry is finding ways to make your stuff in ways that people aren't making them, and that is how you get the advantage, right? It's on the hidden manufacturing side than it is more on the actual product that comes out.
Yeah.
Before
Tim,
we let Pete,
I have one.
hang on.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, before you answer this, because I'm curious to hear this too. Tony, I think that's like anything in the world, man. I truly do. Like, I think almost everything is taken from what exists already, right? Like a chair,
100%.
a window, a vehicle, a cleaning supply, makeup, you name it, man. Like a tool, everything. Like, it's almost like what hasn't been created or thought of yet. And so that's the world we live in, man, where like innovation was at its peak, and it still is at its peak, but like innovation was at its peak for a certain period of time.
It just depends on the industry you're in. If you're on like
for sure, absolutely,
technology, AI, pharmaceuticals, but like I'll just tell what the patent attorney told me with this thing, right? At the time, I couldn't find anything on the market that had a jig head with an EWG hook with an extended shank that allows you to put a skirt on. Okay,
sure.
Obviously, they had ones that that like jig head minnows, right? Offset and different things like the weedless net, right? That was out there, but nothing extended enough that allowed you to put a skirt on. Right. And the patent attorney said, "Hey, look, the patent office is going to say you're just combining existing things. They're not going to find that as what was the phrase, unique and whatever the phrase is that they were looking for." And so I was like, "Okay, fine. Then, well, thanks for telling me. Glad I paid you for that, but I'm not going to go down the road to pay a bunch more."
Thanks.
I mean, it was a good thing because spending a few thousand on the patent attorney to look at things and spending like tens of thousands trying to go to the patent round to get it denied. It's just
Sure.
like not worth it. So, and that's what LTL told me. And then come to find out later, there was some similar stuff made years and stuff ago that went out of business and etc. So no big deal. But it is like, unless you're on the cutting edge of technology, like in the fishing industry, nothing is cutting edge unless it's the electronics, obviously, you know.
Electronics are the game changers.
But like when it comes to actual rods, reels, baits, even boat motors and boats and all that stuff, like for the most part, it's all just improving on existing stuff.
Yeah.
And unless
the day that somebody creates, and maybe it's already created, the day that somebody creates like biodegradable like fishing line, like that'll go viral, right? Where it breaks down in the water and it completely dissolves.
After so
you know
long?
what I mean, or something like that. But Pete, what was your answer to Tim?
Yeah, Tim, I totally overtook the garage. It's completely mine, and it's the boat storage and tackle room. So
100%.
I'll get some pictures and post them on our socials. But yeah, there's no it's all mine.
Well, but to be fair,
he also Trey, they have biodegradable monofilament.
There you go. So it's already out there, right? So let's see if that takes effect with fluorocarbon. I doubt it can take effect with braided line, but hell, who knows? We got electric cars, we got all sorts of weird stuff out there, and there's a whole bunch of stuff we don't even know about. You know what I mean? So, Pete, going back to what you said, yeah, you might have taken over the garage, but you also got Chelsea her she shed that she can take all of her stuff to. Her kayak is out there, which has a new motor on it. So thank you to Mike for coming up from Georgia and throwing that on there. So, but the year's been good, man. Year's been good. I'm glad we're back in the saddle. It's fun fishing from here on out, minus if you're in the North Carolina area, or if not, and you want to travel down here, November, the Friday before Veterans Day this year, which it is every year, the annual Special Operations Bass Anglers Tournament takes place on Lake Norman, and Take a Warrior Fishing has their annual Sharon Harris multi-species tournament. I can't remember the date of that. What is the date on that one, Pete? That's in November as well. But that takes place on Sharon Harris. That's a very fun deal, taking veterans out, getting them out there, experiencing the outdoors, fishing heels. We all know that. So that'll take place 1st. On Sharon. So that's November 1st on Sharon Harris. And then a couple weeks later, you have the Special Operations Bass Anglers Charity Tournament, annual Mark McCowan Charity Tournament this year, in dedication to Chief Petty Officer Shannon Kent, who paid the ultimate sacrifice in Manbij, Syria, January 6, 2019, to be exact. I think it was the 6th. If not, it was the 16th. But anyways, so yeah, 2 great tournaments coming up November here in North Carolina area. Both charity tournaments. One Soba's for bass, and Take a Warrior Fishing's multi-species event. So looking forward to having you guys down here. That's all I have from the talk. What do you guys got?
Good, Ben. You got anything?
No, I don't think so.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we're looking forward to Soba too.
Lake cleanup.
Lake cleanup is coming up June 29th. So if you're in the area, make sure you go to the link that I posted earlier. I'm going to post it one more time for y'all to sign up. If you can join us on Jordan Lake, come clean up. You don't need a boat or kayak or anything. Well, that's not going to work. I need the actual link, so I just screwed that up. But yeah, you can clean up any lake. I posted a link as well there earlier for.
Or go watch the video or Spotify. It's got the link.
Yeah,
on there.
We got links all over the place, so you can check our socials. You can check all of that. Trey and Ben, don't jump off when we end because I need to talk to y'all about a business thing real quick.
I do want to say one last thing, Pete.
I got one more thing after that, so go ahead.
Hey, the dog days of summer are here in the Carolinas. Definitely, probably getting close to the Tennessee River Valley, all that stuff. a lot of the Elite Series anglers and a lot of us are posting pictures on our Instagram of what bass look like set up offshore via down scan and 2D and side scan. So if you're new to the electronics game or you don't use them a lot and you're like, hey, what am I looking for when I'm offshore graphing? Take a look at all the Elite Series anglers. They're doing it. You can probably take a look at some of ours. I'll do it for you guys. 2D down scan, side scan. What does it look like? What am I looking for with bass that are staged offshore? Brandon Lester just posted a really cool photo of his Lowrance down scan. And so that'll help you guys out a lot, because I know what it's like being new to the electronics game and be like, am I looking at crappie? Am I looking at bluegill? Am I looking at carp? What am I doing? So I just wanted to throw that out there to everybody. Go ahead, Pete.
Yep. Nope. All I got is the usual. If you're going through anything, reach out to somebody. Mental health is important. We got to break that stigma around it. So, we talk about it a lot, but it's important to talk about every week. So we've put our numbers out there. You've got socials. You can message us on. You can hit up Mike Johns. His numbers are in every single one of our episode's description. Suicide hotline, all of that is in there. So if you're struggling with anything, reach out. And that was all I wanted to talk about. So, yeah.
I'm glad we're back, guys. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Appreciate everyone jumping on here. Hopefully you guys tell a friend who tells a friend who tells a friend and wants to jump on our Fishing Friday Lives. Please go over to Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. It doesn't really matter. And check out our recorded episodes. We're bringing you guys great guests. Sometimes it's Ben, Pete, and myself running our mouths about fishing, but we're trying to bring you guys really cool guests to break it down from different perspectives in the fishing industry and outside the fishing industry, because we all know it takes a village to build a culture of anglers helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.